In this video, I want to talk about the importance of that scene we saw back in episode 2. Whilst they were stuck in the train car, Maggie turns around to see Negan anxiously walking around, back and forth. He's fidgeting, he's thinking of something. Gabriel asks him what it is. He just says, bad memories. When Gabriel says, of what? He doesn't reply. Straight after, Maggie then ignites a flare. To state the obvious, the first thing to think of that Negan is thinking is that he's remembering when he was stuck in the RV with Gabriel in Season 8, and it was actually cut up in the trailer to match how the Season 8 trailer started. But when the scene actually happened in the show, not in the trailer, in the show, it's quite different. Negan is more anxious, he's more on edge, and straight after he mentions this, Maggie ignites a flare. This was showing a direct callback to that scene Negan had with Jadis back in Season 8, being closed in and being that close to walkers again, and Gabriel being the one asking him about it, being that close to death. What would have happened if he got on that helicopter, if he got bit? It's suggesting that he's going to think about this again, and Gabriel will ask him again, and we'll finally see them talk about that strange experience they had and what it means. Whether you think this scene does have that second meaning or not, it doesn't actually matter. The fact that these two characters have witnessed the CRM and have lived to tell the story is miraculous, and they don't even know it yet. It's the only thing saving Gabriel right now and delaying his death if it does actually happen. He holds that much more importance because of what he saw. Negan even more so because he saw an actual CRM helicopter. All it takes is Negan explaining to Gabriel what Jadis did to him. Gabriel will remember he had a similar experience, apart from with Negan, he can mention the helicopter, which would then explain to Gabriel where Jadis went so quickly. Remember, he woke back up and she was never seen again. He will now know after hearing from Negan that that's what happened, which will then of course lead to what happened to Rick Grimes. Let's get into the video. Of course, make sure you subscribe so that you're the first to see my videos. What's so easy to forget is that Gabriel was literally in a relationship with Jadis after the Season 8 finale. In that time, he was with her for a whole year.
Must be one wild frog party going on out there.
And it was only just a day before Rick Grimes would leave the show where he actually caught her contacting the CRM. He listened to a whole conversation that she had with them on the walkie-talkie. He heard every word about trading people. And at the time he thought that this situation she was in was her trading the saviors that kept going missing, kept turning up dead. But of course that was revealed to be the Oceanside people avenging the men that the saviors had killed. What's so great about Negan and Gabriel being the only characters on the show now to have that CRM experience and live to tell the story and stay on the show is that since the Season 8 premiere, they've always had this chemistry about them. They've always been the ones talking to each other, and for a long time, Gabriel was Negan's only friend, the only one to talk to. So of course, at one point, they're gonna talk about it. It's inevitable, especially with them seemingly remembering it and thinking of it back in episode 2. In fact, after 7 years since this incident happened, I'm surprised they haven't already. And I think the reason for that, especially with Negan, he doesn't know that anyone else has experienced that. And after he took everything from Jadis, he didn't mean to, it was Simon, but you know what I mean, he was in charge, he got the blame for that. He just left her to it, he didn't want to mention it again. He'd feel like he was almost snitching on Jadis by saying, wait, what was that all about? You're still here. Because back in Season 9, she was still here, didn't say anything about it. Then with Gabriel, even getting a last note from Jadis, he did love her. He's not going to say anything, is he? He's not going to snitch on her. The big time jump that happened literally seconds after Rick Grimes left the show saved Gabriel from having to talk about it. And it was very casually brushed off during the time jump. And then after the time jump, when we returned to him, he was with Rosita, so it was nothing more than a bad dream to everyone else. At first, Jadis actually wanted Gabriel to go with her, but he said he had to tell Rick. And that's when she knocked him out and was going to get him bitten and send him off to be experimented on by the CRM, trade him off, but instead knocks Gabriel out again. He wakes up with a note in his pocket and she's gone. He just wanted to let her leave. And although he secretly heard a whole conversation with Jadis and someone at the CRM about trading an A or a B, without Negan's combined info about his experience, he wouldn't have been able to put together a puzzle. How would he have went and told Rick about that? He's had this weird experience in his head, these secrets that he just has never been able to get off his chest before. He couldn't make sense of it. That's why Negan remembering and thinking about it again, getting uncomfortable about it, is so important. But I bet you're wondering, okay, they relate to it, then what? Well, then Virgil's information that he's got about where Michonne actually went and why she left arrives just on time. Whether that means Virgil told Connie and he dies and Connie gets to pass it on, that's what's going to happen next. What I love about all of this is that Gabriel, Negan and Rick Grimes are the only characters to ever be attempted to be traded off to the CRM and live to tell the story. That just doesn't happen. But with Jadis being at the CRM too, that's a reason for Gabriel to go, because he's seen that there was a bigger picture. But just think, if Gabriel found out that Jadis was at this place and he could go there, do you think after all these years that he would? After being so damaged at how she left, would he still care? Would he go because of that? Not to say that he doesn't love Rosita, but he did love Jadis. It's different with Jadis because she literally walked out from Gabriel after tricking him. She went cold. That was almost like she had played Gabriel. But I still think after finding this out, he would care. But the thing with that is that Gabriel and Care haven't got along nicely lately, and that's the thing. That's why I think his story on the show is ending and heading for Dwight's comic death. But having knowledge of the CRM and what Jadis did, and Negan potentially talking about it with him, his time on the main show could literally end with him going to the CRM. It just matters at how the CRM appear at the end of part 3. We know it's going to happen in some way. If it is a situation where characters leave Alexandria to go and find Rick at the CRM, then great, Gabriel's saved because he's going to go with them. But if not, if it is just a small mention and a cliffhanger of sorts, then Dwight's comic death. My thought process has not changed on that. Since episode 2 when we saw this scene with Negan, it's what changes my mind on how he goes, how his story ends. But nonetheless, I think it's clear to see it is ending. It's important to remember the possibility that the CRM and the Rick Grimes movie trilogy, it literally creates this third path for each and every character on the show. Because some characters could just be winding down, their stories are going to end, they live happily at Alexandria. Some will just die. But with the Rick trilogy and the possibility of a war between the Commonwealth and the CRM, that's when these characters can actually be used and die there. So that's why it makes it a lot more interesting. Like Negan in the Rick movies, Gabriel in the Rick movies, these aren't things I ever thought we'd see. But it becomes inevitable when they don't die in The Walking Dead and the CRM starts a war with the Commonwealth. They're going to be in it. That's one of the big reasons I don't see the end of the main show, the end of The Walking Dead at all. I think it's going to be better when it ends because so much more is going to start to happen. Now, in regards to that likely war or conflict between the CRM and the Commonwealth, we've got to look at how that would start. And with Negan and Gabriel knowing, there's a lot of connections that could be made to start that big war. A few months ago I made a video talking about this big theory that suggests at the end of The Walking Dead, or at the end of one of the seasons, Morgan Jones would be taken leading the Fear Group, going after the CRM to get him just as the main show characters would go to get Rick. And obviously with World Beyond, they're already doing that for Hope and her dad. So if Negan was taken, or Gabriel was taken, or just Jadis being taken all those years ago with Rick being enough, would Gabriel go? Would anyone go for Negan or Gabriel if they were taken? There's heavy rumours and sightings of the actress for Jadis, Pollyanna McIntosh, being on set of World Beyond, and I'll tell you this right now, around the time this rumour started, it came out that the actress had followed each and every one of the cast members of World Beyond on Instagram in a row. It's almost like she worked with them or something. I mean, that's just me. But what do you think? What do you think Gabriel and Negan, knowing about this, actually means? These are two characters that I've said are likely to die. I mean, it's clear their story is ending somehow. But with them knowing the end to their story on the main show could just be the start of it in the Rick Grimes movie trilogies. I mean, Gabriel already is so much more important in the show than he's in the comics. He has been for a while. And how do you think The Walking Dead Season 11 will end? Like that last scene, what do you think it's going to be? And which characters do you think we will see in the Rick Grimes movie trilogy? Make sure you comment down below and let me know what you think. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure you press the like button. It actually helps me out and will get this video seen by more people. And if you did, go and check out the latest one on my gaming channel. Oh, he's AFK. I didn't know I destroyed my oppressor. What the fuck? Fucking unnecessary. Oh! What a little What are you trying to do? Why do you bother? And of course, make sure you subscribe so that you're the first to see my videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.